Unit 3, Introduction to OS and Process Management. So, first point is computer system architecture. So, the computer system architecture, it consists of the CPU, disk controller, printer controller, tape drive controllers, then memory controller, memory, the computer system operation. So, computer system operation, the input output devices and the CPU can execute concurrently. Each device controller is in the charge of particular device type. Each device controller has a local buffer. The CPU moves data from or to memory to or from local buffers. The input output is from the device to the local buffer of controller. The device controller informs CPU that it has finished its operation by causing an interrupt. The computer common functions of the interrupt. The interrupt transfer a control to the interrupt service routine generally through the interrupt vector, which contain the address of all the service routines. The interrupt architecture must save the address of the interrupt instruction. The incoming interrupts are disabled while another interrupt is being processed to prevent a lost interrupt. A trap is a software generated interrupt caused either by an error or a user request. An operating system is interrupt driven. Next is the interrupt handling. The operating system preserves the state of the CPU by storing the register and the program counter. So determine which type of interrupt has occurred. The polling or vectored interrupt system. The system segment of code determine what action should be taken for each type of the interrupt. So this diagram shows the interrupt timeline for a single process doing output. Next is the input output structure. After input output starts, the control return through the user program only upon input output completion. So wait instruction idles the CPU until the next interrupt. Wait loop, and at most one input output request is outstanding at a time. No simultaneous input output processing. After input output starts, the control return to the user program without waiting for input output completion. The system call, it requests to the operating system to allow the user to wait for input output completion. Device status table contain entry for each input output device indicating its type, address and state. Operating system indexes into input output device table to determine the device status and to modify table entry to include interrupt. So two input output methods. One is synchronous and second is asynchronous. In synchronous, in user and kernel, it has user and kernel. In user, it has requesting process waiting. Next is the device driver, interrupt handler, hardware data transfer. And in asynchronous, requesting process, device driver, interrupt handler, hardware data transfer. The device status table. This diagram shows the device status table. It has a device card reader 1. Here the state is idle. The second device line printer 3. Here the status is busy. Next is the device disk unit 1 status idle. Next also disk unit 2 3 the status is idle, and next is the busy. Next is the DMA structure, that is direct memory access structure. This DMA, that is direct memory access structure, it is used for high speed input output device which is able to transmit information to close to memory speed. The device controller transfers the block of data from the buffer storage directly to the main memory without CPU intervention. Only one interrupt is generated per block rather than the one interrupt per byte. Next is the storage structure. It has a main memory, the only large storage media that the CPU can access directly. Second is storage, it is the extension of main memory that provides the large non-volatile storage capacity. And the magnetic disk, that is the rigid metal or the glass platters covered with a magnetic recording material. In magnetic disk, the disk surface is logically divided into tracks which are subdivided into sectors. The disk controller determines the logical interaction between the device and the computer. So, the magnetic disk is a circular platter of plastic that is coated with a magnetizable material. The disks are mounted on a rotary drive so that the magnetized surface move in a close proximity to read or write head. The disk rotate at uniform speed. Each head consists of magnetic yoke and a magnetic coil. The various characteristics of disk can be classified as fixed head or movable head disk. The disk in which the head does not move are called fixed head. For such a disk, we require one read or write head per track. On the movable head disk, normally we have one read or write head per surface. The head can be positioned on any track of the platter. Then the next is the side. The magnetic coating, if applied to both the sides of the platter, then it is called as double-sided disk. The data can be recorded on either side of this disk. And the platter means a disk has a multiple platter that are stacked vertically. This is known as a disk pack. In DiskPack, one additional term cylinder is defined, which is the ring of all concentric tracks. Head mechanism. In Winchester disk, the heads are used in sealed drive assemblies which are almost free from contaminants. The head operate closer to the disk surface, thus allowing a high data density. In this disk, the head is in the form of an aerodynamic foil that rests on the platter surface when disk is stationary. On the rotating the disk, an air pressure is generated because of the rotation. This air pressure results in the displacement of the head slightly above the disk surface. Next is the data organization and format. So the head of the disk is small coil and read or write on the position of the disk rotating below it. The data is stored in concentric ring known as a track. The width of the track is equal to the width of the head. These tracks are separated by the inter-track gaps. As we go towards the outer track, the size of the track increases. Same number of bits are stored on each track. Therefore, the linear storage density from outer to inner track increases. So a track is divided into sectors. The two adjacent sectors are separated by intra-track gaps. Sector identification details are written at the time of formatting. A disk is formatted to record a control data on it such that some extra data is stored on it for identification purpose. In typical hard disk, a sector of 600 bytes can contain only 512 bytes of the data. Rest is control information. The synchronization byte is a special byte that signifies the starting of a field. Both the data and identification fields start with synchronization byte and have 2 bytes of error detecting code. The identification field contains the basic information such as the track number, sector number and head number which are needed to identify a sector. So, storage hierarchy. The storage system organized in a hierarchy such as speed, cost and volatility. So caching it means copying information into a faster storage system. The main memory can be viewed as a last cache for secondary storage. So this diagram shows the storage device hierarchy. It has a magnetic tape, optical disc, magnetic disc, electronic disc, main memory, cache and register. So hardware protection consists of dual mode protection, input output protection, memory protection and CPU protection. So the dual mode protection means here sharing system resources require operating system to ensure that an incorrect program cannot cause other program to execute incorrectly. It provides the hardware support to differentiate between at least two modes of the operation, that is user mode and monitor mode. User mode means the execution done on behalf of user, and monitor mode it also supervisor mode. It is also called as a supervisor mode or the system mode. Here the execution done on the behalf of operating system. The dual mode operation in this the mode bit added to a computer hardware to indicate the current mode, that is monitor 0 or user 1. When an interrupt or the fault occur, hardware switches to the monitor mode. The privileged instruction can be issued only in monitor mode. So here diagram is shown, the monitor mode and the user mode. From user to monitor it is interrupt or fault. From monitor to user is set user mode. Input output protection. All input output instructions are privileged instruction. It must ensure that a user program could never gain a control of the computer in monitor mode. That is, a user program that as a part of its execution it store a new address in the interrupt vector. Then memory protection, it must provide a memory protection at least for the interrupt vector and the interrupt service routine. In order to have a memory protection, add two registers that determine the range of the legal address a program may access. The base register, it holds the smallest legal physical memory address, and the limit register, it contains the size of the range. The memory outside the defined range is protected. So this diagram shows a base and a limit register define a logical address space. The monitor job 1, 2, 3 and 4, and there are the base register value, limit register. So this diagram shows the protection hardware. So when executing in monitor mode, the operating system has unrestricted access to both monitor and user's memory. The load instruction for the base and the limit register are privileged instruction. The CPU protection, here the timer means the interrupts computer after specified period to ensure operating system maintains a control. The timer is decremented every clock tick when timer reaches the value 0 and interrupt occur. The timer commonly used to implement a time sharing. The time also used to compute the current time. The load timer is a privileged instruction. So this is all about the protection